a fraud stamp production. Hello and welcome. I am one of the trainers here at Fraud Stamp. I am excited to present to you a short course which we have provocatively named, Giving the Scammer a Kick in the Groin. It was Mr. Charles Ponzi who popularized the financial scammer back in 1920. But financial fraud was going on well before Mr. Ponzi defrauded a bunch of unsuspecting investors, even before the days of tulip bulb mania in the 1600s. Fraud and scammers are not new. But scammers operate differently now compared to the old days. Things have even changed since the heady days of the infamous stock fraudster Jordan Belfort. The scammer has become more sophisticated, refining his techniques to go with the trends. Scammers move with the times. They are currently inventing new ways to con people out of their hard-earned money with schemes that appear at first glance sympathetic to such causes as Black Lives Matter and the coronavirus. They are also always in action whenever there is a boom in anything. From a stock market to a gold boom, from oil to carbon offset booms, and of course the Bitcoin boom. But saying all this, we can't neglect the opportunist either. The hacker. Now before you say, well, this couldn't happen to me, let me tell you that is what they all say. As a famous scammer once said, if you think you can't be scammed, you're just the person I'd like to meet. This short course aims to tell you about the main threats facing us today, how to identify them, and finally our favorite part, how to give the scammer a kick in the groin. So let's start by looking at what the main threats are to our pockets right now. The threats are twofold. The first type is the most prevalent. These we call the opportunist attacks. After that we will explore investment frauds. The U.S.'s Federal Trade Commission listed the top 3 frauds as 1. Imposter scams or bank scams. 2. Debt collection scams. This is when someone calls up demanding you repay a bogus debt with various threats. 3. Identity theft, which is when someone uses another's identifying information, like their name, social security or credit card number, without their permission. A few other scams that are prevalent include job scams. This is simply scammers offering to find you a job for an upfront fee. They obviously have no intention of lifting a finger in your search for a job. Travel, vacation and timeshare schemes are also popular. This is when a scammer tries to sell you a vacation-related scheme which either doesn't exist, or if it does will involve additional undisclosed costs. Something else the scammer doesn't tell you: it will be impossible to resell your timeshare. Another type of scam are loan scams. There are many variations of these, from advance fee scams, where the scammer takes an upfront fee for the promise of finding you a better loan rate or consolidating your numerous loans into one, to bogus law firms promising you that they can settle your loan for substantially less than you owe. Of course, to do this you must send a percentage of your loan to them first. You may have heard the pitch: you are eligible for a government grant. What is the catch, you are probably thinking? There is no grant, and of course the scammer wants you to provide your credit card information or send him a wire to cover any fees for the grant. Have you heard of smishing offers? Smishing is any kind of phishing that involves a text message. These text messages are intended to obtain your personal information so that they can apply for credit cards in your name. Another popular scam, and one that people regularly fall for, are tech support scams. This is usually when someone contacts you pretending to be from Microsoft and using various techniques to gain access to your computer with the intention of stealing your credit card information or getting you to pay them for their help. Remember always that the scammer is an inventive fellow. That means the above list is not exhaustive. There will be new scams that will emerge based on the circumstances at the time. The scams all follow the same rule book and can all be avoided by following a few simple steps. One thing to remember about many of these scams is that it is all a numbers game. The scammer is calling millions of people whether they are students or not. Some will fit his criteria if he calls a sufficient number. And the ones that do meet his criteria will take his threats seriously and follow the scammer's instructions until they have been parted with their money. The lesson to learn here is: you were not personally selected. You are one of millions. It just so happened that you have a student loan, owe tax, have a car loan, or something else they are targeting. It is coincidental. Always end the call immediately. The most simple rule is never to send money or provide personal information over the phone or via email. In reality, if the IRS wanted their overdue tax, they would write. The same applies to the company you owe money to. They all write. So never respond with money or information. Get yourself into that frame of mind. If you are convinced the demand is real, then ask the person 3 questions. What is the name and address and phone number of the company you're calling from? What is the name and address of the person you're trying to reach? And what are the last 4 digits of your social security number? One other thing you can do is stay up to date with the latest scams that are trending. You can find these on Twitter in real time. It is a great platform to see what is going on live. Type in latest scam or something relevant to your question and it will quickly reveal whether others also have the same complaint. The above scams do not discriminate. Frank Abagnale, the famous scammer played by DiCaprio in Catch Me If You Can, once commented about stealing identities. If you tell me on Facebook where you were born and your date of birth, that's 98% of me stealing your identity. Now let us turn our attention to investment scams. Investors are being targeted with a 2-pronged attack. Firstly, we are looked at as easy prey for our willingness to volunteer our personal information. Secondly, scammers have great success appealing to our eagerness to invest in opportunities that offer above-average returns with a half-reasonable story. Investment scams are generally targeted via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Google. They take many forms. Let's touch on the most popular ones next. Cryptocurrency scams are very popular right now and are only going to get worse. That is a guarantee. These scams offer impossible returns in a short period of time. Some are quick smash and grabs. They induce investors with outlandish promises and then run as soon as the first or second return to the investor is due. Others play a long game. The biggest cryptocurrency scam was called OneCoin, where the founders persuaded investors to buy packages of worthless cryptocurrencies. They convinced investors these packages would be worth millions of dollars in the near future as the price of the currency soared in value. In the same way as Bitcoin was their pitch. Investors lost nearly $15 billion to this scam. Unfortunately, this isn't an isolated case. There are many copycat schemes out there now misleading investors with false promises. Dagcoin is one such scam coin operating today. Anyone who asks you to send money or cryptocurrency to them so that they can send you more in return are lying. If you follow their instructions, you will never see your money again. A financial instrument called binary options and foreign exchange scams are also very popular. Many of these run on attractive-looking apps. However, the scammer manipulates the odds or the terms and conditions to prevent the investor from withdrawing his cash. Selling trading signals is another scam where fraudsters offer to sell you information that will make you money in the markets. The fraudster's information is freely available online and most of it is bogus or publicly available. We came across our friend Charles Ponzi earlier. Unlike its namesake, the Ponzi schemes didn't die. Today these schemes offer a high monthly return on your money. It could be a farm in Africa, a plantation in Brazil, a shipping container, a car parking space, a land development in Morocco or a solar power plant in the Sahara. The latest buzzword online is passive income. It seems we all want to make money through side hustles which involve minimal work. I blame myself for the constant barrage of emails and YouTube adverts I receive from Oliver trying to persuade me to enroll on his passive income course. He is offering to teach me how to set up a business on Amazon and make thousands of dollars a month selling crap. Many people enroll on Oliver's courses. But they forget a few important things. Firstly, if it was this easy to make money, everyone would be doing it, and if everyone was doing it, no one would make money. Secondly, the only person who makes money is Oliver. You will lose not only the money you invested in his course but also the worthless stock of Chinese crap you ordered and now can't sell. There are many sharks like Oliver around. If you have a desire to set up a side gig, research it yourself, read books about it and go out and do it. You don't need Oliver to show you how. Let me now turn our attention to a new danger facing all of us. Influencers. Influencers are the menace behind many of these investment scams. They tell their followers how much money they are making from the foreign exchange or binary option app they signed up to. Just remember, when an influencer shows you his red Ferrari and hublot watch, that is all a game to get you to invest. He doesn't care whether you lose your money. He just wants his commission. That is what paid for the watch. So how do we identify scam investment opportunities? There are a few words or phrases that scammers use that are a dead giveaway. Here is the magic list. If you hear any of these in a pitch, you know what to do. Offshore. The opportunity of a lifetime. This baby's gonna move. Guaranteed. You need to hurry. It's a sure thing. Our proprietary computer model. Our algorithm. The smart money is buying it. It's a no-brainer. You can't afford not to own it. We can beat the market. Exclusive. You should focus on performance, not fees. Can't lose. The upside is huge. There's no downside. I'm putting my mother in it. Trust me. Monthly returns. And lastly, no one knows how to do this. Finally, let me leave you with some general guidance on investing. We all know the phrase, if it looks too good to be true, it usually is. We know that is an irritating phrase, but it is so relevant here. Just think of it this way. One of the best investors who ever lived is Warren Buffett. His average annual return is 20%. Now think to yourself, the chancer who offers you the opportunity to make 2% a month from his secret foreign exchange algorithm, is it likely that he is going to be able to perform ahead of someone like Warren Buffett? That unbelievable performance would make him one of the top investors in the world, ever. Is it likely that if this opportunist was one of the best investors in the world, he would be advertising on Google or posting his videos on YouTube? When was the last time you saw Warren Buffett advertising on Facebook? The world is full of people trying to get their hands on your money. Your best bet is to avoid the get-rich-quick schemes. Avoid the unregulated firms. Always do your own research. Never be rushed into a decision. Always check online and see if the person or company offering you this opportunity of a lifetime has scammed others. Odds are he has. By all means, invest through Robinhood, the stockbroking app, but only invest what you can afford to lose. There are many horror stories of people investing all their savings in risky stocks or even more risky schemes run by the likes of Oliver and his buddies, and guess what? They lose everything. And don't say this couldn't happen to you, because it does, and it will. These are our main rules on investing and thus avoiding investment scams, which we will leave you with. The stock market's long-term average return is around 9% including dividends. Any investment that offers above this rate is likely to be a scam. Your pension should never be invested in risky products. It should also not be invested in one asset unless it is property that you own outright. If you are investing in the stock market, limit this to only 5% of your total portfolio excluding your house. Remember, you are no Warren Buffett. You are an amateur. You may get lucky, but long-term it won't last. Only deal with regulated companies, regulated in your country of residence, not in Belize, Estonia, Malta or Cyprus. And finally, never ever respond to investment opportunities online. I would like to leave you with one final thought. If you have been a victim of a scam, don't be too tough on yourself. It doesn't mean you are stupid or gullible, it just means you are human. We are dealing with a very clever animal in the scammer. To fight back, we must constantly be on our guard. Remember to sign up to our monthly bulletin and other online courses, reports and fraud alerts so that you are always one step ahead of our slippery scammer. Thank you for your time and see you on the other side. www.fraudstamp.com